Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Thanks, Abby. We're running a few minutes behind, so I'm going to go on mute because they're still not quite done yet with resurfacing the ice from the previous game. Once warm-ups start, I will put the sound back on. Here come your Junior Bucs. Tonight we'll have Cora in net, so Simon will play up on D. Changing up the jersey color tonight, we'll wear our whites. Again, we're running a few minutes behind schedule because the previous game had quite a few stoppages right near the end. Okay, hopefully being inside this evening, technology won't fail us like it did this morning. Again, apologize for the jittery camera as I had to manually move it versus using the AI technology that I usually have been using. Just about done with the warm-ups here, and we will get underway. Okay, so here we go. We're about ready to get underway. Cora will be in net with Henry and Alex on D. Starting at forward will be Atlas, Keith, and Miles. Puck is down. Hopefully the stream is working. First shot on goal by Keith. Steered aside, picked up by Miles. Pushed back into the corner by the Lady Cyclones. Picked up there by Miles. Tries to get it back. Gets it back to Keith. Comes back behind the net. Comes all the way around. Keith tries to shovel it back out front. A little too far for Atlas. Henry pinches in. Picked up there by Miles. He maintains possession. Gets it over to Keith. Played back behind by Atlas. He centers in just out of the reach of Keith. He can't quite get the shot away. Pushed back in the zone by Alex. Picked up along the near wall there by the Lady Cyclones. Comes out through neutral. Swatted on there by Keith. He gets it into the zone. Pushes back behind the net. Played along the far wall by Atlas there. In the skates of Henry. Has a hard time getting a handle on it. Can't quite keep it in the zone. It comes out through neutral. Met right there by Alex. Henry's back on it. Miles there to support. Played through neutral. Picked up again by Atlas. He pushes it into the zone, but it comes right back out, so we got to regroup through neutral. Picked up by Alex. He pushes it back in the zone. They're on sides at the line. Alex tries to keep it in. He's tripped up, falls down on the play. It's 2-on-1. Henry races back. Atlas there with a nice back check. Pushes it behind the net. Picked up again by the Lady Cyclones. Comes back out. Picked up by Keith. He skates it up the ice. He's got a breakaway if he hustles. Keith in all alone. Takes a shot. And he scores! Scoring for Des Moines, number 28, Keith Damon. .9:52 remaining in the first period. Puck is down. Second line out there for us tonight is Charlie, Shale, and Bo. Simon and Fitzy back on D. Pushed back into the offensive zone. Hustled over there by Bo. Taken away, picked up by the Lady Cyclones. We can't quite keep the zone. Comes back out through neutral. Shale gets back on sides. Played out along the far wall. Picked up there by Bo. Pushed back in, and they're offsides on the play. Face-off will come out to neutral. Charlie on the draw. Puck is down. Played forward by Charlie. Takes a shot. It's deflected. Gets on net. Smothered by the goalie and goes back behind the net. Picked up again by the Lady Cyclones. Comes back around the near wall. Pushed back to the far wall. Picked up there by the Cyclones. Goes all the way down. Too far for Fitzy, but they wave off the icing. Played along the far wall by Shale. He pushes it out of the zone, comes back through neutral. He hustles back. Charlie back over there, but the Cyclones were offsides. Couple fresh set of skaters for us this evening. Coming out are Kale, Carson, and Will. Face off on the far neutral zone dot. Kale on the draw. Kale wins it back, picked up by Carson. Pushed back in by the Cyclones. They move it towards the high slot. Picked up there by Alex. We got a little too bunched up right in the middle there. We spread out. Comes back out to the high slot. Hustled on there by Will. Kale there to support. Cyclones push it back in the zone. Come out of all the way out. So the Cyclones have to regroup for neutral. They do, but they're offsides. Kale on the draw. Wins it forward. Nope, comes back. Picked up by Henry. He takes a swat at it. Comes back to Alex. He tries to flip it up and out of the zone. Can't quite do it. Picked up there by Kale. Kale skates it forward. He's got Will trailing him. Takes the shot. Flutters wide. Picked up behind the net by Will. Will tries to center it, but there's nobody there. Goes back to the far wall. Picked up again there by Carson. He's in the high slot, kind of all alone. Waits for his help to come. A little too late. Puck's taken away. Picked up by Kale. Kale has it. Takes a shot towards the net. Goes wide of the net. Comes all the way back up to Alex. Henry dropped his stick. He picks it back up. Lady Cyclones take a shot, but it's well wide of the goal. Kale picks it back up. Skates through neutral, gets it to Will. Will's got it. Will with it. Will takes a shot. Oh, deflected. Oh, and it goes up and over, comes back around. Good scoring opportunity there for the Bucs. Cyclones clear it out to neutral. Will picks it up again. He's got Kale breaking towards the net. Takes it in all alone. Fires it towards the net. Pad save made there by the goalie. Cyclones pick it up along the far wall. Carson there to intercept. He falls on the play, gets back up. Carson again there to try to swat it away. We got a hustle back. Henry hustles back. Alex hustles back. They take a shot. Cora makes a nice stick save to push it behind the net. Comes back around. Up into the high slot. We got a pressure here. We push it up. Does not clear the zone. They're still on sides at the line. Carson with it. Now they do clear the zone, but it's offsides again. It'll be Atlas on the draw with Keith and Miles. Picked up by Simon. He plays it behind the net. Pushes it up along the far wall. Stopped there by the Cyclones. Taken away there briefly by Miles. Dipsy takes a whack at it. Comes back up along the far wall. Picked up there by Atlas. Goes right through the player's skates. Picked up by Keith. He gets it towards the net. Comes right back out for a fortunate bounce, but we can't capitalize on the puck that came right off the end wall and scored it right out by the goalie. Simon with it. Atlas with the nice back check to support. He pushes it out to the sides. Keeping everything to the outside. Picked up by the Cyclones through neutral. Miles there. Miles with it. Takes a backhand to put it in the zone. Chased down there by Keith. Miles again with it. We're on sides at the line. Atlas with it. Loses the handle on the puck. Got to get back on sides before we can re-enter the zone. Picked up by Keith. He's got it again. He takes it. Goes end to end. Here he goes. Takes a shot and he scores! Scoring for Des Moines. Number 28, Keith Damon. His second of the game. Charlie out there on the draw, wins it back, picked up by Alex. He fires it forward. Intercepted there briefly. Chael takes a whack at it, goes into the offensive zone. Chael with it, but he can't maintain possession. Comes out through neutral. Alex takes a swat at it, goes back in. Bo over there along the far wall. Comes back behind the net. Another precarious bounce off the end wall. Comes right out to Chael. Picked up by Bo. He pushes it back around. Chael's there to intercept behind the net. Gets the puck back. Pushes it towards the goal. And they whistle it down. The puck is taking some weird hops behind the Cyclones goal. Whether it be the end wall or a bump in the ice, I'm not sure, but it's definitely been on end at the time. It'll be Charlie on the draw with Bo and Chael. Bo has it now. Gets it over to Henry. Comes back up to the top of the zone. Henry whiffs on it briefly. Charlie there to backhand it back into the zone. Picked up by the Cyclones. Comes all the way back around. Bo's there to stop their attempt to break out. Cyclones pick it back up. They skate through center. Charlie hustles back. Alex is there. Bo with it. Nice job by Cora yet again to make a great save. Push back behind. Comes all the way through. Too far for the Cyclone player. Pushed back in by their D. Charlie with it. Backhands it up and almost out of the zone. Chael pushes it forward. Comes out of the zone. It'll go all the way down, but it'll be icing. 2:56 remaining in the first period. Defensive zone faceoff upcoming here. Mikhail on the draw with Will and Carson. Simon and Fipsy on D. Save there made by Cora. Pushed into the corner, picked up by Kale. Kale, Carson, and Fipsy all there. Goes all the way down. The puck's on end, so it's going to roll all the way down, and it'll be icing. Oh, they waved off the icing. Okay. No icing on the play. Picked up there by Will. He's got Carson with him. Carson takes a shot. It's pinned up along the post, but they whistle it dead. Offensive zone faceoff upcoming. Kale on the draw. Puck is down. Played back by the Cyclones. Picked up by Will. He takes a whack at it. Try to keep it in the zone. They can't, so they got to regroup through center. Comes over to Simon. Simon with it. Takes a shot towards the net. Covered by the goalie. Good play by Simon to just put it on net. Puck is down, picked up again on the far wall there by Henry. He makes a swat at it. Comes back around behind the net, met there by Keith. Played there by Miles. Cyclones player lost their stick. They pick it back up. Played by Atlas behind the net. Oh, he tried to center it for Miles, but just a little too far. And then our two D pair collide through through the offensive zone. So we kind of have to regroup in the offensive zone. It comes all the way out. Bit of a miscommunication there by the D partners. They both went for the puck in the high slot. Offensive zone faceoff upcoming. It'll be Atlas on the draw. He wins it. Covered immediately by the goalie. Puck is down. Picked up by Keith. Oh, Miles takes a poke at it. Try to get it towards the net. Goes into the corner. Atlas centers it. Comes all the way through. Picked up on the far wall. Pushed back deep into the zone by Henry. Cyclones play it up the near wall. Comes all the way out to neutral. Alex with it. He waits for his teammates to get on sides, but it's just a bit too soon. And we are offsides on the play. Fresh skaters out there for Des Moines. Charlie, Bo, and Chale. Again with Fipsy and Simon on D. Puck is down. Played by Charlie. He tries to push it up the near wall. Turnover there, picked up by the Cyclones. They push it into the far corner. Met there by Fipsy. Good stick work there to break it up. Comes up to the high slot. Played there by Bo. Comes up and out of the zone. Lady Cyclones got to regroup through neutral. They do. Goes all the way back in. Played back behind the net by Fipsy. Comes back up. Played by Simon. Simon with it. Played again forward by Simon. Charlie with it. Collision there at center ice. 5 seconds left in the period. Charlie hustles in after it, but time will expire on the first period. That's the end of the first period. Oh, yeah. Okay, thanks. It's amateur hour over here. Thank you. Yeah. You're fine. All right, we're just about ready for second period action here. Kale will take the draw with Carson and Will on the wings. Henry, and they're short a player. They're playing 5-on-4. Now they realize it. Do the Cyclones, they get another player out there. Comes all the way back down into the Cyclone end. Intercepted there by Kale. He pushes it back in. Played over to Carson. Carson with it. Carson takes a shot, goes wide of the net, goes behind. William hustles over there to get it. Played it back to Kale. Kale backhands it. Gets caught up in a player's skates. Comes all the way out of the zone. We got to regroup to neutral. Kale with a good defensive move there to break up their play. Comes back through neutral. Picked up by Carson. Back over to the Lady Cyclones. They skated in the zone. Met right there by Henry. Picked up by Alex. He fires it up, but not quite out of the zone. We're still on side. Played back behind the net. Pushed along by Henry. Gets it all the way over to Will. Comes out of the zone. Picked up by Kale. Can't quite corral it in his skates. Picked up there by Carson. Carson pushes it into the zone. Will with it. Takes a shot on net. Smothered there by the goaltender. It's still loose. They don't blow it dead. And now they do. Atlas on the draw, upcoming with Miles and Keith. Picked up behind the net there by the Cyclones. Played back through neutral, picked up by Simon. Simon backhands it, tries to get it over to Miles. Doesn't quite connect. Comes back into the defensive zone. Picked up along the near wall by Atlas. Atlas pushes it back, comes over to Keith. Keith with it, skates it in the zone, loses the puck, goes into the near corner, tries to backhand center it into the slot, but there was no one home. Puck was played back behind the net along the far wall. Picked up by the Cyclones. Met right there by Miles. Miles with it, backhands it into the tries to backhand it deep into the zone, intercepted there, picked up by the Cyclones. Played back through neutral. Miles and Keith are there with it. Miles fires it back in the zone, onsides at the line. All the way down by the Cyclones, and that will be played by Cora, so no ice. Fitzy takes a whack at it, picked up by Miles. Can't quite clear the zone. Played into the near corner by Fitzy. He flips it up to Atlas. Atlas falls down on the play, gets right back up. Played back deep in the zone. Keith there tried to backhand it up out of the zone. Couldn't quite get there, so Simon's got it now. Gets it up to Atlas, but it's just caught up too much in the skates. He couldn't get a handle on it. Comes all the way into the zone. Picked up nicely there by Miles. He fires it on the net. Tipped out front. and play stoppage with 8:12 remaining in the second period. Offensive zone face-off upcoming. Charlie on the draw. Puck is down. He wins it forward. Picked up by the Cyclones. He fires it back on net. Goes stick save made there by the goalie. Picked up behind the net by Chael. He gets it over to Charlie. Charlie backhands it. Goes up and over the net. All the way over to the far wall. Chael there to make a nice play to try to keep it in the zone, but he can't quite keep it there. Comes all the way out. Picked up by the Lady Cyclones. They hustle on net, take a shot, goes wide of the net. Picked up by Charlie. Charlie skates through some traffic. He's got Chael breaking towards the net. Charlie with it, takes a shot. Sitting right there on the doorstep. He can't bury it. Second try made by Bo, and it stopped by the Lady Cyclones. 7:28 remaining in the second period. Puck is down, won back by the Cyclones. Intercepted there by Bo. He backhands it towards the high slot. Picked up on the far circle by Chael. He fires it back around. Charlie races after it. Bo's there. Charlie with it. Backhander on net. Just a little too far, and it goes in. Scoring for Des Moines, number 14, Chael Brown. .704 left in the second period. A lot of traffic out front, and we capitalized on a somewhat open net. Lady Cyclones will switch goalies here with 7:04 left in the second period. Face off, taken there by Chael. Puck is down, picked up by William along the far wall. Skates it in the zone, loses the puck momentarily. Gets it back, Simon with it. Fires it all the way across. Comes over to Chael. Chael fires in the zone. It's picked up by the Cyclones. Played over into the far corner. Chased down there by Carson. Chael with it. Takes a whack at it to try to get it back deep in the zone. Fipsy there to break up the rush. Played back behind our net. Picked up by Fipsy. Gets it to Chael. Chael tries to clear the zone. Partially fanned on it, but got it back and gets it out through neutral. Comes all the way back in the defensive zone. Picked up by Simon. Nope, intercepted there. Picked up by William. William with it. It's one-on-one for William. William with it, takes a shot, goes wide of the net. Picked up there again by Carson. Carson with it. Played back behind their net. Played up the near wall. Chael with it. Fires it right back in, but we're offsides. Face off at center. It'll be Atlas on the draw. Face off down, picked up by Alex. He fires it back in. St. Louis gets it right back out of the zone. Picked up again by Keith. Keith with it. He's got Atlas breaking towards the net. Oh, glove save made there by the goaltender for the Lady Cyclones. offensive zone faceoff upcoming here with 5:23 remaining in the second period. Faceoff there by Atlas. Picked up by the St. Louis player along the far wall. Tried to skate it up. Intercepted nicely there by Miles. Miles with it. Takes a shot. Blocker save made by the goalie. It's still loose. Picked up by the Cyclones. They try to clear the zone, but they can't. Keith and Miles are there. Comes back around. Hustled on there by Atlas. Gets over to Miles. Keith with it behind the net. Centers out front. Nobody there to whack it home. Atlas is there. Wide open net, and we score! Scoring for Des Moines, number 7, Miles Davis. .439 remaining in the second period. Face-off upcoming here at center will be Charlie on the draw. One back there, picked up by Shale. He tries to pop it up the boards. Shale hustles in after it. Bo's there to support. He fires it towards the net. Scramble out front. Comes all the way around the far wall. Simon back there on D. Fipsy there. Pushes it back forward. Goes over to Shale. Shale's taken out on the play. He's down along the far wall. Gets over to the bench. Charlie with it. Takes a shot, and it goes in. Scoring for Des Moines, number 97, Charlie Cox. There seems to be a bit of confusion. Yes, it's a good goal. Score reads 5-0 with 3:53 remaining in the second. Pushed back into the far corner by Kale. He's got his stick up there. He's got to get it back down so he doesn't get called for a hooking penalty. Played over by Alex. Collision out at the high slot with Alex. He's back up. Comes back around. Kale backhands it into the far corner. 3:17 remaining in the second period. Pushed along, picked up by Carson. Over to Kale. Kale with it. Gets caught up in his skates. He can't quite get a shot away. Picked up by the Cyclones. A little too far for the player that was sweeping through neutral. Chased down there by Henry. Henry with it. All the way back around. Picked up by Alex. He got it out of the zone. Comes all the way back into the offensive zone. Chased down there by Carson. Oh, and we tried to keep it in the zone, and we just fanned on it. Comes all the way back down to Cora. She sticks it aside to the far corner. Near corner. Comes up to the top of the circles. Kale fires it out of the zone. He's got Will breaking towards the net. With it, loses the handle, picked up there again by Kale. He tries to fire it back towards the net, but it hits the Cyclone player right in the skates. Picked up by Henry. He fires it back in the zone. 1:53 remaining. Kale with it now. Kale takes a shot on goal. Smothered down there by the goalie. Still loose, and they blow it dead. Little collision out front there. The goalie might have gotten run into. I'm not sure. .145 remaining in the second period. Goalie's back up. She's skating off under her own power. Looks like the other goalie for St. Louis is going to take back over. 1:45 remaining in the second period. Offensive zone faceoff upcoming here with Atlas on the draw, with Miles and Keith on the wings. Picked up there by Keith. He tries to get it up to the high slot. Kept in the zone by Fitzy. Pushes it back forward to Miles. Gets it back over to Keith. Miles with it. Gets it back to Keith. Keith takes a shot on goal. Save made by the goaltender. Hold on, you got to redo it. Goalie with a bit of an equipment issue, so we'll redo the face-off. 1:24 remaining in the second period. Excuse me. Puck is down, comes all the way up, but out of the zone. Fitzy chases it down. Played along the near wall. Atlas there with Keith. Atlas has it. Skates it forward. Gets it back. He's got Miles and Keith breaking towards the net. They take a shot. Stick save made by the goalie. Goes into the far corner. Picked up by Keith. He tries to center it again. Hustled down there by Atlas. Comes up and out of the zone. Yes, it does. Offsides. 50.9 seconds left in the second period. Face out there by Atlas. Picked up by the Cyclones. Played along the near wall. Pushed along through center. Picked up by Atlas again. Pushed back in. Deep in the zone. Picked up by Keith. He's been all over it tonight. Keith with it. Gets it over to Miles. A lot of traffic along that far corner. Keith with it. Centers out front. Atlas can't quite swat it home. Goes along to the near corner. 14 seconds left in the period. Down to 8 seconds left in the period. Keith with it. Circles back, takes a shot towards the net. Goes back behind the net. And that'll do it for the second period. Chael's back out there with Charlie and Bo. Henry and Alex back on D. Just about ready to get started for the third period. Face-off coming here. Face-off one there from a second by Charlie. Taken away, though, by the Cyclone player. They fire it on, goes back behind the net. They fire it back towards the goal, goes back around, picked up by Charlie. He tries to pop it up and out of the zone, comes all the way out. No icing on the play. Comes all the way back down into the offensive zone, chased down there by Chael. Keep it in the zone. Then it comes back out through neutral, picked up by Henry. Henry's got to regroup, gets it back to Charlie. Charlie with it along the near boards. He's got it still. Skates behind the net. Protects nicely. Backhand goes off the post. Squirts back out, goes behind the net. Not sure who took a smack at it, but someone took a healthy smack at this puck there and didn't quite go anywhere with it. Comes out of the zone, all the way back through neutral. Picked up by St. Louis. Over to Alex. He had a second. Cyclone player tries to take a shot. Intercepted there. Picked up by Alex. Charlie has it now. Charlie with it along the far wall. Charlie has Chael breaking towards the net. Charlie with it. Takes a shot. It's deflected down there. Picked up behind the net by Chael. Play back to Charlie. Charlie with it. Goes right through the crease. Comes all the way back around up the near wall. Pinched in there by Alex. Chael fires it back towards the net. Comes back through neutral. We clear the zone. Comes all the way on. Back into the zone. Picked up by Alex. He fires it back around. Chased down there by a Cyclone player. We get it out of the zone. Henry with it. Tries to push it up the ice. Picked up by Charlie. Nice poke check there by the St. Louis player to take it away. Charlie with it. Got caught up in his skates. Lost control of it briefly. He picks it back up. Charlie with it again. Breaking towards the net. Goes to the outside. Tries to get back to the middle. Kale with it. Takes a whack at it. Goes wide of the net. Played up along the near wall by Alex. He pushes it right back in. They're hollering for Charlie to get off. He needs a change. He changes. Carson comes out. So does Simon. Alex still out there with Will and Kale Carson. And now Alex heads off on a change. Kale with it. Pushes it through the high slot, but can't quite connect. Comes all the way back down, picked up by Simon. Pushes it back up the ice, picked up by Will. Will with it, loses it momentarily. Does he get it back? No, he doesn't. He gets it to Kale. Play back through neutral. 8:15 remaining in the third period. Picked up by Will. Gets it up to Kale. Kale with it. Takes a shot. Fires it wide of the net. Up, covered by the goalies. Bit of a traffic out front there. Someone got it towards the net. I couldn't quite see who it was. Puck is down, picked up there by Will. Played back behind the net by a St. Louis player. They try to clear the zone, goes off the wall, and they do. Nice hustle there by Simon. Pushes it back into the near wall. Will with it there for a second. Gets it up to Kale. Kale and Carson. Pushed back deep in the zone by Simon. Comes back around. Picked up by a Lady Cyclone player. Played back in the high slot. Intercepted there. Kept in the zone for a second there by Simon nicely. He hustles back on D. And Kale with a nice poke at the puck there to get it off the player's stick. Kale heads off on a change. Atlas out there now. Simon with it. Tries to connect on a long reaching pass. Can't quite get there in time. Comes back. We're a little bit out of position right now. We need to regroup. We do. Carson with it. Carson gets it up to Keith. He hustles down the far wall. Keith with it. Puts the brakes on. Picked up by Miles. Fires it towards the net. Steered aside by a Cyclone player. Never quite made the net there.
I have no idea.
Cyclone player tries to clear. Picked up nicely by Simon. Simon heads back on a change. No, he does not change yet. Still in the offensive zone. Now it's out of the zone. Picked up by St. Louis. They play it back through neutral. Pushed back in by Alex. Gets it all the way in deep. Played right out front to Miles. Takes a shot. It goes wide. 5:16 remaining in the third period. Played up and out of the zone. We got to regroup. Henry with it there. Miles backhands it back into the zone. Picked up again by Miles. Steered towards the net. Pad save made there by the goalie. Pushed back in deep by Alex. Comes all the way over. Keith hustles down to try to keep it in the zone, but it's just a little too far out of his reach. Alex with a nice play to push the player to the outside. Picked up along the near boards by Keith. He hustles down after it. Intercepted, picked up there by St. Louis. Keith with it still. Plays it back down deep. Tries to get it back to his point. He does. Henry's there. Henry takes a shot. Couldn't quite get a whole lot on it. Never quite made it towards the net. Atlas with it. Atlas still with it. Stick handles. Tries to make a move to go to the net. Can't quite get there. Goes back into the near corner. Comes back out front all the way up and out of the zone. We will have to regroup at neutral. Gets it up to Atlas. Atlas fires it back in. Broken up there for a moment. Atlas gets it back. 3:33 left in the game. Comes towards the net. Oh, Miles with the shot. Goes wide. Played back there by Henry. Henry gets up to his D position. Pinched in there by Miles. Tries to get it over, but there's nobody coming in the high slot. Keith hustles over to get it. Makes a nice play to break it up. Gets it back in. Gets it over to Atlas. Atlas with it with a nice move. Oh! Bad save made by the goaltender for St. Louis. Comes up the near wall. Push back out, not out of the zone, still on sides. Kind of got discombobulated there. And it's offsides at the line. 2:35 left in the game. Cyclones with it. They get it into the zone. 2:08 remaining in the game. We must be in running time. Push back into the zone. Met right there by Bo. Bo with a nice play to break it up. Gets it back in the zone. Played along by Bo again along the far wall. Comes back to Charlie. Charlie with it. Takes a shot towards the net. Knocked down there by a St. Louis player. Bo with it. Fipsy with it now at the point. Gets it over to Charlie. Charlie backhands it towards the net. Oh, and it goes in! It went off with someone's head, and it went right back in. I'm not sure who's going to get the goal, but it went off. I think it went off Chale's helmet. 1:03 remaining in the game. Kale on the draw. Put forward there by a Cyclone player. Push back to neutral. Picked up by Alex. He fires it along. Gets it back in. Comes back out of the zone. We got to get back on sides. We do. 29 seconds left in the game. Bucs with a commanding 6-goal lead right now. 20 seconds left. 19. Push back into the zone by Kale. Gets it over to William. Henry with the streaking down the far wall. Fires it towards the net. Save made there by the goaltender. 6 seconds. 5, 4, 3. And that'll do it. Final score reads your Des Moines Junior Buccaneers 6, St. Louis Lady Cyclones 0. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. We play tomorrow morning at 10:50 against the Yellow Jackets. I believe that is scheduled to be outside as well, so maybe it'll be a little warmer by that time and we won't have technology issues. Thanks again, everybody, for watching.